All right. So I found this yesterday, and I couldn't find any sort of official confirmation on any sales or whatever. But his name's Benji Sales, so is this true? I don't know. Let's find out. Let's see if we can find some information. Tekken 8 sales. So apparently to Game World Observer, Tekken 8 reaches 2 million copies sold. Right? 2 million copies sold, right? Which is under 3 weeks. So I'm just comparing it to this website. Yep, seems like they're saying the same thing. Street Fighter 6 sold 1 million copies in 3 days, which is pretty impressive. Mortal Kombat sold 3 million in less than 2 months. And let's just double check. I just want to see how many people are currently playing right now, because it is early hours in the morning. We've got 21,000 people on Steam playing Tekken 8, which is pretty good. There's always going to be a drop-off with any game, even something like Power World. There's always going to be a drop-off. People are going to hit peak content, burn out quick, and then they'll just find something else and then come back, right? But that's a very impressive 2 million copies sold in under 3 weeks, and that's because the game has tons of stuff to do, tons of content, tons of customization, really awesome netcode, lots to do if you're an online, offline person, doesn't matter which side. And that's the reason why it's selling so well. And this is in just 3 weeks, right? 2 million copies, right? It took, hang on, what did it say? It reckoned 2 months. Was it 2 months or 3 months? I thought it was at the end of 3 months that they said that it was 3 million copies, right, for MK1. Okay. But either way, like, and keep this in mind, because you have to keep the same sort of metric regardless, is that, like, I don't think sales indicate quality, alright? But you can look at the amount of sales that have happened in a short space of time after the 2 big fighting games have come out, and you can go, well, that's pretty impressive, right? That's 1 million every week and a half, right? That's pretty crazy. So if that keeps going, it's already 2/3 of the way on top of what currently Street Fighter 6 has made with sales, which is over 7 months, which is fine. Street Fighter 6, just like Tekken 8, they're gonna just continue to just grow and grow and grow, right? Mortal Kombat 1 is completely and utterly stagnant. It can sell on name, but it doesn't have any lasting power. There's no content that's like worthy of your time. And to argue that, oh, well, we get this free, we get these skins for free, seasons free. Yeah, it's content. It's just boring ass grindy content with really crappy quality skins. Okay? Now some people like it, and that's fine. But when you look at the previous game with MK11 and then MK10, it's such a downgrade. The whole game should be called Downgraded Combat 1. Alright. So that's very impressive. Okay. So in 3 weeks, it's 2/3 of the way to Street Fighter 6's current sales amount, right? So no, it's going to surpass it easily. Okay. It's also 2/3 of the way in beating, in towards Mortal Kombat 1 sales. Now, I'm pretty sure it was 3 months, but I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure I did a video on it. Regardless, I think that the lesson that Mortal Kombat 1 taught the fighting game community is that no one is too big to fail. MK1 has been riding on the coattails of its name for a very long time, selling because of what it represents and what greatness has come before it. But everything can fail. Everything can stumble. Doesn't mean to say that it can't come back. I just don't think they're going to do it with this game. This game would require a massive overhaul. And to do so would probably start with their proper story expansion. I've talked about this for a while, that they'll probably rebrand Mortal Kombat 1 to something like Mortal Kombat New Era or something like that to get away from the 1, to stop the confusion between Mortal Kombat 1 now and actual Mortal Kombat 1 that came back out in the 90s. I always thought that was an absolutely like ridiculous marketing move. It's the same feeling I had when they called the Xbox One the Xbox One. It's like, you already got an Xbox One. It came out like 1,000 years ago. What are you doing? Like, you know, people... We're not talking about like somebody that's like lived for 80 years and go, this is the new Xbox, okay, like, and just forgetting, right? No, that was worse marketing. Calling it Mortal Kombat 1 was the worst marketing. It just wasn't necessary. They could have just gone with like name, subtitle. Or just call it Mortal Kombat 12. It doesn't matter. Nobody would care, right? Even calling it Mortal Kombat 12 sounds awesome to a degree, because it's like, yeah, this is like the 12th Mortal Kombat game. Look how long this series has been running for. Amazing stuff. But no, they decided to try and rewrite stuff like they do with everything else. Okay, and it failed. It failed on that front. And like I said, they might try and rebrand with the story. The problem is though, and I think me and Tom spoke about this, is that if you do that and you go, well, you know, you can have this brand new experience and everything's fixed and stuff like that for a price tag, you are absolutely going to cause problems. Okay, so you've got to be really careful, right? The new content can have a price tag, but if you make massive quality of life changes to the game, add in new game modes and stuff like that, I think a lot of that stuff should be absolutely free. You've got to get your goodwill back. Again, No Man's Sky is the metric of this. Pushed out early, completely undercooked, got completely destroyed in every metric of review and opinion piece and whatnot, and they have crawled back and has become one of the best sci-fi exploration games ever created. And that's because they knuckled down, they did the right thing. So I don't know if MK1 can be salvaged. Doing things like having a 1v1 mode would be perfect for this game. Nobody asked for cameos. But in order to do that, they would have to accept that cameos has been a failure. And it depends whether or not their pride will allow it. Okay? But 2 million copies in under 3 weeks for Tekken 8 is proving that, you know, people are hungry in the fighting game community for something really solid. They want something really amazing. Something that just feels like the developers and the game itself respects your time and your money. And that's when people invest. Right? That's what happens when you create something great. People want to invest. They want to spend their time in that game and be engaged with it constantly. So that's pretty amazing figures. That's truly amazing figures, right? It is well on the way to beating Mortal Kombat 1. It is well on the way to beating Street Fighter 6. Now, I don't see Street Fighter 6 as competition, because Street Fighter 6 was the start. Like, they came out swinging. Said, here's our World Tour mode, here's our Battle Hub, here's our awesome offline stuff, you know, customization, everything like that. Some microtransaction issues over that game, right? And one of the most underrated fighting games for me is Granblue Fantasy vs. Rising. That game is chockers. In fact, I'd argue that's probably the most feature-rich fighting game of all 4 of them. These 3, and then that one as well. It's got tons of content, like absolute tons. Okay? That's just personal opinion. Anyway, so yeah, so that's very impressive. Very, very impressive. It mentions on this website as well that Power World sold in 8 hours 1 million copies. right? Because people on PC are hungry for a Pokemon game. Nintendo have refused forever to never put a Pokemon game on Steam. So somebody just stood up and just went, right, we'll give you what you want. And they were so successful with it, it's amazing. It's now apparently sold 12 million copies on Steam alone. 12 million copies. Now it says also here that Tekken 7 remains the best-selling title in the series. I'll post a link in the description so you guys can check this out. 10 million copies sold globally for Tekken 7. So they're already on the way. In under 3 weeks, they've already made a massive dent. And Tekken 7 didn't launch the best either. Like, it was kind of, if you will, the Street Fighter V of Tekken, but nowhere near as bad. Nowhere near as bad. They had, like, paid, what was it? Paid frame data, I think it was. That's just disgusting. Right. So they've obviously made sure to not make those same mistakes again. Okay, I'm all for a redemption arc. I'm all for things being turned around. If they can turn Mortal Kombat 1 around, that'll be great. Good for the game, good for the fans. Good for me, I love MK. But right now, they need to do a lot of work. And they must be looking at the success of Tekken and realizing the massive mistakes they've made and going, what are we supposed to, you know, like, what can we do? And they just keep drip feeding content out, thinking that that's going to be enough to tide us over. Or bring out these new boring seasons. There's no point doing the seasons anymore. They're just boring. I haven't loaded up MK1. Let me just show you, just quickly. I haven't loaded up MK1 since... I'll just move my noggin down there. Hide that for a sec. Can I... Hang on. Oh my god, that's terrible. Why is it so gigantic? There we go, stretch the screen. Alright, you can see there, MK1's there. I haven't loaded up since February 6th. Right, that's 10 days ago for me. It's the 16th today, that's 10 days ago. Right, I have no interest. I just looked at my library and go, what am I going to do? There's nothing to do. It's a boring ass game. There's nothing to do. Right? So, but anyway, I'll post a link in the description for the website I've just been reading out. Let me know what your thoughts are. And I will catch you guys next time. See ya.